Hello, folks. Yeah, it is the yearly video. It's an annual tradition, isn't it? Games Workshop have record profits, and then they raise their prices again. Thank you all for joining me. We are going to be talking about Games Workshop raising their prices, and maybe trying to bring a bit of balance to this discussion. Are they always the bad guy? Is this a price rise across the board that just goes up with inflation? You know, is this fair of them to do? Well, we're going to examine that and the different parts of it in this video because, of course, Games Workshop are raising their prices of all of their models again. All of your hobby supplies, your paint, your pots, your brushes, all that stuff will be remaining the same price. I don't think any books are going up in price. It is just models. Across the board, all models getting more expensive by about 4 to 5%. But we'll read a really cool article on Spiky Bits together, and of course examining Games Workshop's own statement. And here it is. Wonderful stuff. From the 6th of October 2025, some prices in Warhammer stores and on Warhammer.com will be changing. On average, prices will rise by about 4%, but the exact amount will vary by product. Some will change a little more and some a little less. The prices of many products, including paint sprays and paint sets, aren't changing at all. We're sharing this now, so you've got time to make any purchases before you've been planning. At today's prices. Okay, so basically they're saying, yeah, get it in now at the prices that you want, or or if you wait till the 6th of October, they're going to go up in price. So other channels will be covering this, I'm sure, as we get closer to the time. I've no idea why people aren't, because this is quite a big deal whenever Games Workshop does this. Same with the Ukraine thing the other day. Nobody really covered it, and I was really confused as to why. Cowards. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, this is an annual tradition now. Every single year they do this. And somebody said to me on my Discord, and it was a fair point, dude, if you look at the rates of inflation, that's what this is covering. And I said, that's okay, fine. You're covering the rates of inflation. You're passing that on to the customer. No problem. I do have a problem with that because you've had record profits all of these years. But okay, let's just take it at face value. Okay, you're passing that cost on to the customer. It's a normal thing to do. Then why isn't anybody else doing it? Why is no other company that sells models in the same sphere doing the same thing? Riddle me that. Moving on, I found this really cool article over on Spiky Bits, and we will read it together from Travis Patch. That's not a really good name for me to say with my shh thing that I do. Travis Patch. Okay, moving on. The Games Workshop price increase in 2025 is here. Again, he's saying it as if, again, yeah, it is something that happens every single year. See how Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Heresy, and the Old World kits are changing and what it means for your wallet. Alright, Games Workshop just posted its biggest profit year ever. And naturally, prices are still going up. Yeah. This is the thing. This is the problem. The problem isn't that Games Workshop aren't allowed to make money. The problem isn't capitalism, right? The problem isn't that Games Workshop want to make more money for their shareholders and for themselves. That's fine. I completely get they're allowed to make money, and they should be making a lot of money. Their product is awesome. I have an issue with optics. I have an issue with every single time in the past few years, we've had the cost of living crisis, which is still going on. People in the UK are really struggling to afford to pay their bills. They're struggling to afford to do anything of note that gives them any sort of joy, and yet Games Workshop keep throwing up their prices as if, you know, nothing's changed. Everything's going hunky-dory for us, so why should we care, right? And again, they're a company. They shouldn't care. It's not their place to do... Okay, I can't sit here and tell them it's not their place to tell us how to act and how to behave in terms of being the moral police, right? But it's also not their place to, you know, look after your wallet and to make sure that you're doing okay financially. It just isn't. You're a customer to them, right? It's their place to make sure that their shareholders are earning good money on their dividends and they're able to give their staff pay increases, which they are year on year, right? Which they should do because they're paid peanuts. But anyway, moving on. My problem is that it crosses a line. They continually cross this line of, yeah, respectable profit, no problem. We got no problem with that. We don't even have a problem with record-breaking profits. Excellent stuff. So why raise the prices again? It's greed is what it is. It's price gouging is what it is, right? They're gouging you for every single penny and cent that you're worth because they don't see any worth in you. That's the problem. That's my problem. You will get a lot of people responding to this going, well, you're not their company, they're supposed to be making money. Yeah, dude, I get that, and I support that. Absolutely support it. That they should be making money. They should be getting record profits. I have no problem with that. Whatever. Fine. Yeah? I have an issue with looking at the burgeoning amount of money you have in your wallet and saying, do you know what? I want more. A lot more. Raise the prices. And do you know why they get away with this, right? Some dude said something on Reddit, which I think it's over here somewhere. It was so good. I wanted to use it. Where was it? It was down here somewhere. It was something about cope. Where was it? All right, yeah, this guy here, the Mechanics Bob. This is one thing, right? In 2022, prices went up 5%. In 2023, 6%. In 2024, 3.5%, and now about 4%. Meanwhile, Warlord, Mantic, TT Combat, who are also based in the UK, aren't raising their prices as often, nor are they doing it while reporting record profits year on year, right? Again. So, where was that? Here we go. Can't wait for all this cope in how this is justified. And some guy actually made a very good point. I think this guy's been in my comment section. Marius, have you been in my comment section? I swear he has. Anyway, the cope is to complain about something that isn't going to change. I wish I could get everyone I see moaning about the price increases to post their piles of shame. Exactly. Exactly, Marius. Yes. I wish all of you complaining about these price rises, if you put money into this machine at the prices they want you to put it into, you don't get an opinion. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't get an opinion. If you're sitting on a massive pile of shame that you bought from Games Workshop at retail price, you don't get an opinion on their increasing prices unless you agree with them. If you agree with them, fine. If you're sitting there going, hey man, it's not a problem for me, I'm rich. Increase it all you want. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong, but you're entitled to your opinion, right? But if you're somebody who buys all of these models and then complains about how expensive they are, piss off. You don't get an opinion. I'm revoking that right. Sorry, no. No. I know, an incredibly horrible thing to say. Everyone deserves their own opinion. But dude, I say it all the time. You cannot sit in boiling water and complain to me that it's hot. I will just I'll turn my brain off. Nope, not listening to it, right? Anyway. Yep, record profits, generous CEO bonuses, and yet more price increases are here for Warhammer hobbyists. But this time, the reasons are not just keeping up with inflation. Right, here we go. Let's break it down. Alright. Alrighty. The short version, profits go up, prices going higher. Alright, here we go. Games Workshop made a killing this year. We're talking hundreds of millions in revenue and an operating profit of nearly £170 million. That sounds great for shareholders, and especially great for CEO Kevin Roundtree, who walked away with another £2.8 million worth of free stock this year. Wow. Dude, so that's free stock that's only going to go up. Alright? £2.8 million in stock in Games Workshop is worth a lot more than £2.8 million. I can almost guarantee even now. Dude's set for life. But buried in their financial report was this little nugget. We will continue to raise our RPs, that's recommended retail prices, on new products. The average was 5% in 2024-2025 to represent the significant investment it has taken to deliver them. Right. Translation, Warhammer prices were always going to increase again, and now we have the details for 2025's increase. So, why did Warhammer for prices increase? Tariffs. So, they're blaming tariffs, essentially. I hesitate to say Orange Man bad, right? You know what I mean? But for a company like this to update its prices at such an egregious amount and then to claim, hey, yeah, it's tariffs. It just smacks of bullshit to me. It just smacks of a desperate attempt to to hand wave smoke signals. No, 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 no. Well, we're not greedy. We're not greedy. It's Trump's fault. He introduced these tariffs to America, the UK. It's Trump's fault, right? Again, I don't know, man. The tariffs are there. Absolutely. And every company in the world has to deal with them if you do UK to US, right? My problem is, you look at companies that do UK to US, I know a lot of people who work in computing software and in hardware too, people at PC specialists, people like that, their prices haven't gone up. And they are shipping very expensive things. I'm talking graphics cards, I'm talking motherboards, top of the range, I'm talking 4K monitors, I'm talking entire personal computer setups that are worth thousands of pounds that they have to pay top whack profits, the tariffs on, right? And they don't increase their prices. Alright? Do you know why they don't increase their prices? Because they have competition who won't. They have competition who keep them in check. What you're seeing with Games Workshop is them seeing the tariffs, and they could eat this cost. No problem. What was it, £12 million? They made 170 after tax. After everything's gone out the door, they made £170 million. So even without this 12 million, they're making £158 million. It's sheer greed. And the reason Games Workshop get to act this way is because they have no competition. They have nobody keeping them in check. If Games Workshop had 2 or 3 other Games Workshops out there who they were competing with, who weren't introducing price increases for their tariffs, Games Workshop would not be introducing price increases to cover the tariffs. It's as simple as that. And look at how smarmy they are. They put in here that they've increased the pay across the scale for all of their employees. Well, good. You've just had a record profit year of £170 million, so you should do, by the way. But they put it in under why they've increased the prices, or why they're going to keep increasing the prices, right? That's what's pissing me off. Anyway. It says here, let's give credit where it's due. Games Workshop is increasing base pay in the UK to £12.75 an hour, and they're giving a 3% rise for 2025-2026. That's good news for the staff. Well, good. They deserve more than that. A lot more than that. Right? They're the reason you're in profit, mate. So they deserve a lot more than that, but moving on. However, tariffs also played into the story. Games Workshop's annual report flagged an estimated $16.1 million in extra costs tied to new US trade rules. The silver lining here is they're absorbing those costs themselves through efficiency improvements rather than passing the full weight onto the hobbyists. Okay, so let's read, shall we? Tariffs. Our current estimate is that if we did nothing, new tariffs would impact profit before tax by £12 million in 2025-2026. This new problem will be dealt with in our normal pragmatic way. We will not change our operation plans too much. We already have a US corporate entity, and we are investing in our base in Memphis and opening stores across most states. Some of our trade partner staff and customers are nervous, so to be clear, it is business as usual for Games Workshop. Once again, a new normal has to be accepted. It's mostly out of our control. We continue to manage our taxes in line with our policies and are monitoring the ongoing legislative changes in the US and any potential impact on our effective tax rate. So in nowhere there does it say that they're not passing this cost on to the customer. So I don't know where he's got that from. I've scoured this. I've looked at it. I've up and down to try and find where he got that from. I can't see it. I can't see how they're absorbing the costs themselves. Because they say themselves, if we did nothing, it would... They say we're increasing... all they say is we're increasing all of our prices, right? And then immediately after that in their report, they say, okay, why are we doing this? Well, number one, tariffs. Right? And they don't tell us that they're absorbing it. They're saying, listen, if we didn't increase the prices... They say it right there, look, if we didn't increase the prices, our profits would have suffered by £12 million. We would have earned £158 million clear profit rather than £170 million, right? That's what they're saying. So they are passing on the tariffs to the customer. Black and white, they've just said it there. They're literally doing that, you know? So he found this really cool nugget and then found the information and then somehow misinterpreted it. Now, if you're out there, mate, if you're out there, Travis, reach out, email me if you can. If you ever see this video, email me. Because I'd love to know where you got that from, because I'd like to put it in a video. Because maybe they are eating the costs of tariffs, but not from what they're saying here. They're not saying that here. That's exactly not what they're saying. Alright, so either way, Games Workshop has made price increases an annual ritual. On average, they raise costs by around 5% each year, and their most recent annual report confirmed that hikes would continue. And by the way, somebody else on Reddit, which I'm giving Reddit credit here, which is incredible, but they said, yeah, prices have gone up around 20% over the last 5 years. That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy. Alright, sit down, Games Workshop, you're drunk. That's crazy. Alright, starting 6th of October, Games Workshop is rolling out new prices in Warhammer stores and on Warhammer.com. On average, prices across the whole Warhammer range went up by around $2.66 per kit, which works out roughly to a 4% bump overall. Okay, the good news, paint, yeah, I've already covered all that. So this is the breakdown of how things are going, and it will be in the description down below if you want to read it. But yeah, things are increasing, and it kind of sucks. Again, final thoughts on them. You get these you get your stuff from elsewhere. There are ways and means to get around this, but I have to say, since 2020, the prices have increased from 15 to 20%. Name me another industry where that's considered normal. Please. Name me another industry anywhere where a price hike of 10 to 20% that sustains, doesn't come down again, right? So you can't give me graphics cards that came down again. You can't, no. It's up and it stays up. That's what she said, right? The prices go up and they stay there. They never come down again. So you tell me. I don't think there is one. This is greed. Okay? This right here is greed. That's what this is. Inflation rate has gone down. If anything, it's gone down. Inflation has decreased in the UK. Games Workshop continues to raise their prices. It has nothing to do with inflation. Nothing. Okay? That is an excuse that shills will give you to hand wave away the price increases. Why? Because they're getting free models either way, so why should they give a fuck about you? They are killing this hobby with their greed. They're killing it. Alright? The one thing they have is their record profits. It's the one thing they stand on. Saying, well, look at our record profits. The thing is, okay, I think a lot of people look at money as the be-all and end-all. As you should do if you're a business, right? But let me put it this way. A guy back in the day, let's just say, I don't know, let's see a hobby that's been taken over. Star Wars, right? Star Wars. Look at old school Star Wars fans who loved Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars Armada and all these other things, right? Disney take over Star Wars and they make record profits. Why? Because they bring out 1 or 2 movies and people still like it at that time. You know, the Last Jedi hasn't happened yet. People are still really raring to go for Star Wars and they're making record profits. And everybody was saying, well, look, see? Right? They're chasing new fans, they're alienating their old ones, and they're making money from it. So go fuck yourselves. Okay? Right? So they destroyed their own hobby. They destroyed their own IP, they destroyed their own hobby. And people are saying, yeah, but they did it and they're making really good money from it. Okay, cool. What happened a few years later? The whole thing tanks in value. Because the guys who propped it up, the foundation of the hobby, wasn't there anymore. All the dudes left. All the dudes said, this is some weird ass shit that's meant for women, so we're going to leave. Right? See ya. Like, the Acolyte was one of the last straws for them. They just all left. And now it's worth, you know, a fraction of what it was that they paid for George Lucas. They paid for it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if one day George Lucas tries to buy it back, because he's insane, and that's the kind of guy he is. But, like, they tanked it. They destroyed it. Games Workshop doing the same thing. They're chasing off their old loyal customers that they don't want anymore, right? They're chasing those off, don't want them around. They're experiencing the last big surge of loads of sales, as this is the big wave of the normies getting into the hobby, right? All of the normal people who Games Workshop want, the Amazon people, this is the big surge, and we're going to have this for a few years yet, you know. I'd say until 2030 we're going to have this. We're going to have Games Workshop increasing profits year on year on year on year. Until those normies get sick of 40k and they leave. And then Games Workshop will turn around to the people who left, the actual guys who built this place, and they'll go, hey guys, you want to buy some more models? And we would have all moved on to our next thing. You see what I'm saying? They've killed this hobby with their greed. They killed this hobby by driving off the people who made it what it is in the first place. We brought you to the dance, motherfuckers. We brought you here. Some of us worked for you. Some of us put years of our lives into you to make sure you were doing well, and you know, we put really hard work in there. Some of us still have stock in you. Yeah. Alright? Some of us still have stock in Games Workshop. You're destroying this place. You're destroying this hobby with your greed. You're driving off the people who made it what it is. And when those people you're courting from Amazon abandon you and walk away because they're bored of their new toy, you're going to turn around and see the guys who made this place aren't there anymore, and you're in deep, deep, deep shit. Because there's only one way to go from profits like this. It's downwards. The minute you have an average year, the sharks are going to circle. The second you have an average year. If I'm Kev Roundtree, I'm giving it a year or two. I'm selling my stock. I'm retiring. See you later. I'm going to Cayman Islands. Bye. I'm telling you. These people are stuffing their pockets on the way out the door. That's what Games Workshop are doing. They're rinsing you for your last couple of pounds before they switch their entire focus onto the Amazon crowd, the normie crowd, right? Not you, essentially. Going in a completely other direction. And when that doesn't work out for them, they'll come back to you. Look what Disney are doing right now. Look what they're doing right now. They've course corrected. They've gone, hey guys, we'll make stuff for you anymore. And everyone's going, go fuck yourself. I'm not paying for that. Right? But Disney have the size and the catalogue and the history to ride a hit like that and still survive. Games Workshop made £170 million. Now, that's a lot of money to anybody, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to your Amazons, your Marvels, your guys like that, it's nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. It's a drop in the bucket, right? This is not the size of a company who can survive alienating their key fan base to try and chase new ones. It won't survive that. And people will look at these record profits and wave away my arguments and say, yeah, more money means you're wrong. That's not what it means, mate. Because we've seen it time and time again, even with a company the size of Disney. The size of Disney. They chase off the men from what they like. Right? Their profits are good for a while because everyone likes the new toy, and then they tank because normies don't stick around. Non-nerds don't stick around. They don't. They're not loyal. They go on to the next thing that they like. The next show that they like. And they'll leave you in the dust. And then Disney are now turning around and going, hey guys, you liked Star Wars, right? You liked all that? You like Alien? You like Alien? We're doing a new Alien thing. You want to watch it? No one's watching it. No one is watching it because they lost faith in your brand. They lost faith in you. They can't trust you anymore because you dropped them like a fucking hot brick last time. And now they're suffering. Same thing, and Disney will ride that wave out because they're too big to fail. Literally, right? Games Workshop are not Disney. They're not Disney, dude. But they are playing with fire, is what they're doing. They're increasing these profits to drive you away. Why? Because they don't want you here anymore. They've got new fans that they want to placate. They've got new people that they want to get in bed with. They don't even want to make models anymore. Not really. They want to license out their properties to people like Amazon and make millions doing it. This is why I've always predicted that's where Games Workshop is going. I still predict Games Workshop will get out of the model making business. I honestly, I do. I think the reason why they don't care about 3D printing is because they like it. They go, yeah, good. 3D print your own stuff so we don't have to. Thank you. Right. Here's your STL files we'll sell to you, and you can go print it yourself. Now we pass all of the production, all of that stuff, we pass it on to you. We don't need to do that anymore. We still own the IP, so each time you print one off, you got to pay us some money. Great. And yeah, now we'll just sell off our IP to people like Amazon and people like that, and we'll just license that. We'll become an IP management company. That's what we'll do. And that's the smart play. If that's what they're doing, they're playing a blinder, because on the way out the door, they're stuffing their pockets. For all you idiots who keep giving them money. They're taking your money and laughing all the way to the bank because they know they don't need you anymore. In that kind of context, this behavior makes sense. Okay? And that will be a successful strategy for them. You know, but if they're wanting to stick around in model making and being the biggest model making company in the world, and they also want to chase the mainstream and alienate their original customers by price hiking them and making changes to the beloved setting that everyone likes, right, all the time, try and drive them away, that new audience you're courting will get tired of you eventually and will leave. You're not Disney. You don't have the brand power. You just don't. No matter how much you try and change 40k to be more brand user friendly, it's not. It never will be. You'll never wash that stink off. So you may as well get down in the filth with the rest of us and embrace the stink. Embrace 40k. Embrace what it is. Embrace how grimdark it is. And you will still make money like this. Because we'll all give it to you. We'll all give you that money, no problem. Right? But this is a law of diminishing returns. You can only go back to the well so many times. I still think for the next 5 years they'll do incredibly well. Because the normies will continue buying their products. Whilst old greybeards like us will walk away. Generally will walk away, go do other things. Then, when the normies drop them, like a hot brick, like they always do, Games Workshop will turn around and go, hey guys, do you want to come back to 40k? Like, yeah, there's no female custodians anymore. No, they were all killed on the planet, Vagina. They were all killed. We killed them all. So, you want to come back now? You want to? Yeah, there's no female space marines. No, they all got killed off. Yeah, in the Vagina Nexus campaign. Yeah, they were all killed off. You want to come back now? Right? I'm being facetious, of course, but that's my prediction. What do you guys think is going to happen with these price increases? How do you think Games Workshop's going to ride the wave? Do you think they're going to? Do you think the price rises are, shall we say, justified? Let me know. Comment section. Let me know. I love you a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more hobby nightmares. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you very, very, very soon. All right? Have a good one. Bye now.